For those who may not know, how can you briefly explain the FCCPC's mandate and its role in Nigeria's digital economy?
Okay, good afternoon once again. First of all, I'll say that FCCPC, for those who don't know the full meaning, means Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission. This commission is an offshoot, or it took over from what we used to know as Consumer Protection Council. And this new act was enacted in 2018, which is a broader act to ensure that consumers are protected. So it is called FCCPA 2018. Now, the main objective for which this act was introduced in Nigeria is first, to promote and maintain competitive market in Nigeria economy. Then, secondly, also to promote economic efficiency. Third, to protect and promote the interest and welfare of consumers by providing consumers with wider variety of quality goods at competitive prices. Then fourth, to prohibit restrictive or unfair business practices which prevent, restrict, or distort competition or constitute an abuse of what we call dominant position of the market in Nigerian economy. And then lastly, but very importantly, also to promote to the sustainability of economic development in Nigeria. Now you may ask me, how wide is this law? The law, it says that except as may be indicated otherwise, this act applies to all undertakings and all commercial activities within Nigerian shores or having effect within Nigeria. Now, what we mean by having effect within Nigeria is even if the headquarters of such company is outside Nigeria, but as far as their activities have effect in Nigeria, this law applies to it. We have an example of our issue with Meta and all that. You understand what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So as far as the activity of such company, have effect in Nigeria, this law applies to it. This law also applies to even companies owned by Nigerians, by the Nigerian state. That's what I mean. As far as a body corporate or any agency of government of the federation, or a body corporate or agency of a subdivision of the federation, if the body corporate or agency engages in any commercial activity, this law applies to it.
All right. Well, now recently I would ask this question to you, and I also put this question across to Ms. Ndoteni Bisiki.
Yes.
The FCCPC recently urged Nigerians to report loan apps and businesses harassing them over unpaid loans.
Yes.
Stating that no consumer should live in fear.
Yes.
What prompted this public reminder?
Now, what happened is that, this was at a time an unregulated space until, and they actually, everybody, every kind of person, both human beings, those faceless, they were opening loan apps. As far as they have the capacity to just go online, they open loan apps and they were doing anyhow. Until we felt that this was an abuse on Nigerians and Nigerian consumers as far as digital lending is concerned. So we began, we had an agreement with different other agencies that have to do with money in Nigeria and lending. CBN, Nigerian Telecommunications Commission, NIDA, and all that. So we came together, we had an MOU, and then it was domiciled with FCCPC to register loan apps in Nigeria. And then that was, now when we went after them, there was a time about 3 years ago, we even shut some of them, we closed some of them, and then we brought out a guideline for registration. Then there was registration. As we speak today, we have about 500 and something registered loan apps in Nigeria. Registered, right? Now, but another thing is, after that registration, we also found out that Nigerians were complaining. One, how loans are dumped on them. Secondly, how they are harassed, intimidated. So they use all manner of tactics to, get back their money. Because they also failed in the area of ensuring that the people you give money are not faceless, are people that you can easily. So for those that are intending to pay back and those that are not intending to pay back, they treat them the same way. So we are not saying that for those that are Nigerians and you know that you borrowed money and you have paid or you're intending to pay, you shouldn't be harassed. Unless those that, there are also Nigerians, that their own is that they think it's a free money.
Yeah.
There's no free lunch even in Freetown. Right? Yeah.
I met someone, that was 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
And someone sent the number to me. And I reached out to the individual. And she said she thought it was one of the loan apps that was calling her. So I said, what is the problem? She said she borrowed some money from them. And she has no intent to pay.
Okay.
I mean, this is a personal experience. I said, why would you do that? She said she is even encouraging me to do the same. That I should take as many loan apps, I should get loans from as many loan apps as possible. And I was like, that is very wrong.
Okay.
And it is not something you should be doing. And that is one of the things that motivated me to have this conversation today, because as much as we blame the loan apps, we also have to blame some Nigerians, just like the person I'm telling you about, who do not intend to pay
intentionally. Just
they don't want to pay back. They don't want to pay back.
Yes.
Let me ask Dr. Ibisiki, now, what kind of harassment tactics have you observed from loan apps, and how serious is this problem across the country?
You don't even want to know. I'm sure you've had phone calls from these online lenders that you were not even aware that there was any such transaction. They go all out. Some they say you are a thief, some say you have AIDS, you soon die, all sorts, and it's everywhere. In fact, that informed the commission to further think of how to protect consumers. The world, the world is a global village today. And whether we want to agree or not, the loans also help. They're like a stopgap when challenges arise. But we found out that there are abuses on both sides of the divide, both the lenders and the ones taking the loans. Now, that informed the commission to come up with the regulation that we refer to as DION, Digital, Electronic, Online, or Non-Traditional Consumer Lending Regulation 2025. And that in itself is protective of both the lender and the one taking the loan. Now, what does it do? Initially, when we set out to register the loan apps after our surveillance, and then we found out all that we found out, some were not even based in Nigeria. We had this MOU with Google and all of that, and then we were able to get a lot of them to register. Now, what will this DION regulation do for consumers now? Now, you must register. And the registration, I'll give that link. I can as well just give it out now. Lenders interim registration at fccpc.gov.
You have to repeat it.
That's
again.
If you want to be a loan app, you want to give out loans, you must register. If you want to participate in that line of business, then there must be a registration within which we would look at what you're doing, where your office is, who are the faces behind it. In short, generally get a profile. What this regulation also does is not just about you, the one that is lending or the loan app. It's also about you as the business owner. This person that is borrowing my money, is the person capable of paying? Who is this person? What's the person's details? What are the details they have out there in terms of maybe their BVN, their NIN number? That will also help to catch consumers such as this one that says she's advising you to take a loan
and not
without the intent of paying back. I just don't know. And that's somebody's business. I don't know how we got to this point where we don't even think of the next man, the losses and all of that. Like I said to people in the market, is as much as it's difficult for you to bring for us to buy, it's also difficult for us to bring to come and buy from you. So let's create a balance. You don't cheat me too much. I also will look for a means of also buying from you. So it's a win-win for the commission. DION protects both the loan app and the consumer, because we don't intend for you to borrow and not pay. If you take a loan, yes, maybe to meet a particular need, it suffices. But when you would have done what you were supposed to do, there must be a timeline. And we also say to the loan owner, the app owners, don't just throw loans at. Sometimes you just see text message. You can get this loan.
You're qualified for a loan.
You're qualified for a loan. Just with your account number, your salary account number, you can take a loan. And sometimes, even when you don't want, sometimes they will even send the money to you, even when you have not asked for it. There must be a conversation before we get into doing the business. You must speak to me. I also will respond to you. And then there must be, a timeline set. There must be defined. There must be a definition of timeline. And then what's the interest rate? Because sometimes these interest rates just increase on their own. And then, make sure that you put structures in place where after I would have paid, you are no longer harassing me. Because you find some people have paid, paid back, but they are still getting phone calls. So it means that there's something, there's a gap in that structure that they put in place. So because at the end of the day, there'll be fines. Once there's this regulation is already out there.
Has already come into place.
It has come into place. So as you register, so also as you're taking the loan, be ready to pay because the consequences are there. You will pay the loan, you will get the fines, and then you might go to prison. Depends on what it is we find in the course of investigation. Because you see, consumers sometimes feel that once they just come and complain, we'll just go and clamp on the business owner and just send him to prison. It doesn't work that way. We have stages. We do our investigations. Depends on what it is that you have told us, and then we now investigate to ensure that we just want fairness. We want a situation where people can lend money with dignity, with pride, and still be who they are. You are taking a loan doesn't mean that you are any less of a human being. So we're looking at a situation where that runs, and then we're still, still in business. I still have my dignity. I can still move about, and then the defamatory part of it is what the commission is running at. But you too, as the business owner, know who you're giving your money to.
All right, it's still today's tech show, and having the officials from the FCCPC. I nearly called you the EFCC. FCCPC on the show, and we are discussing consumer protection in the digital age. We're live on Facebook at today 95.1 FM. You could watch us live. You could send text your questions on SMS, WhatsApp, or on our live video. I'll get to put it across to them to ask. Now, let me still ask you this, ma'am. What steps should a consumer take immediately if they are being harassed or threatened by a loan app?
Initially when we first started this registration, before this regulation that just came up in 2025, we actually did say to the consumers, don't just jump into something or jump in to take a loan because you want a loan. We have apps that have been registered. Now, when you use the registered ones, we are able to deal because we know what the regulations are, and you will not want to default. But when you go and take on loans from apps that are not registered, that we don't even know anything about, it's difficult. That's why you have there's room for you to complain if the need arises, and you can send that through Lenders Task Force at fccpc.gov.ng. Like my boss said earlier on, we came together, CBN, NCC, Google. After that clampdown on a lot of loan apps that were, just taking people to the gutters just because they took a loan, and all of that. So once you know that app is registered, then you can now send your complaints to that website. Drop it there, and then FCCPC will deal. You cannot take law into your hands. You cannot go to the police. You took on their loan. There was an agreement when you're supposed to pay. What was on ground? What did you agree on? That's what will play out. That will now enable us to know whether you have defaulted or they have defaulted. Now, it is good to report, like we said, rather than take laws into your hands to deal. Once you do the reporting, we'll now go on our search, find out is it even a registered one? Because the registered ones won't want to default because they know that the penalties are stiff and they will play. So they are watchful.
All right. Now, Mr. Uchebu, beyond loan apps, what are the top complaints the FCCPC receives from Nigeria's tech-driven markets?
Okay, I want to tell you that, anyway, just to add a little bit before I jump into that, I always want to tell people that whoever that is going to equity should go with a clean hand. If you have any intention of taking loan, if you have taken any loan, please pay. When you are planning to take that loan, also plan that there is a way of payment, because that money, that person also borrowed it. Most of them borrow this money from lenders It is business they are using it to do. So if you are not, and some people just take this same fault, the fun of taking it. Not that they are going to use it to, even as a stopgap measure, that we say that this is what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right? It's just that, okay, I had that. Let me see what happens. You must be ready to pay back. So but even though we are not saying, we are not encouraging dirty way of recovering the money, but you should pay back your loan. That's what I always tell people. You see, most of the complaints, now I come to complaints. Now I want to let you know, apart from this complaint that is on loan complaints.
Yes.
But although it is the highest, is that the loan apps now is the highest number of complaints I receive now, because FCCPC now have a portal that anywhere you are, here you are now, you can just send it. If you just go to fccpc.gov.ng portal, complaint portal, it opens up. As you are entering your complaint, it will go, even if you are in Nasarawa, but you want this zone to resolve that complaint.
Yeah.
All you need to do is you mention any state in my zone, any of the 6 states from Edo to Akwa Ibom. As soon as you fill it in, the complaint automatically comes to me and automatically to a particular desk, allocates it to a particular desk officer. Even though, because I oversee all the complaints, I'll see it on my portal, but it will now land on a particular. So within 2 days, I've already asked the complaint desk officer what he's doing about a complaint. So within 1 week, we intend that such complaints should have finished. Now, apart from digital lending, the highest other one is on tech area, as we are talking about, or this economy, is power, and then banking sector. These 2 other sectors are areas we're having a lot of complaints, and we're doing everything. And then we're having more and more now on these all these online businesses. Online business, I don't want to mention any of them. We have a lot.
There are a lot of them in Nigeria.
There's a lot of them in Nigeria. Yeah. People buying without even checking out if the person is registered. I was with somebody I said there's one I saw now that their things are so cheap. I said, are you sure that they are registered? Are you sure that if you pay, that when you pay in your money, that those you are going to get it? Because Nigeria, well, I don't know, maybe it's because of the economy. Everybody's looking for anywhere there is
cheaper and
affordable. And then some people also will not take time. In fact, I even fell for it this last week. I saw a particular this light that is solar light, for outdoor solar light. I saw it and I liked it when I saw it, but I didn't really take time to look at the measure of it. So I bought it. I ordered for it and paid. By the time the thing came, it was so miniature that I said, "Wow, if me, what I got, and
what you ordered, what you got.
But I saw that it was me that ordered it because I wasn't careful to check the dimension of what I was ordering. I ordered it, and so I went back to my ordering. I now saw that it was that dimension that I ordered.
All right, now because of time, let's see how many questions I can cover. Now, how do you collaborate with other regulations such as CBN, NCC, and NIDA in tackling digital consumer issues?
Yeah, earlier, Madam, made a little mention of it. Before we go into all this, we went into an MOU. Yeah. So we have MOU with CBN, we have MOU and NIDA, we have with NCC, all the major regulators in different sectors. But in this digital sector, recently we also we are having an issue with we had an issue with now with Meta, and that particular issue it wasn't only us alone, it was with NCC, it was also with NIDA. So. And before such a thing, so we have a collaborative MOU with all these, and we always look at those things whenever there are issues. We come together to ensure that we do it with them.
Yes. Okay, now let me ask you this, man. What role does the FCCPC play in ensuring digital platforms do not misuse consumer data for profit or exploitation?
You see, that's why these registrations are important.
Yeah.
That's why it's good to also be aware as a consumer for yourself. You see, the challenges are, like Oga said, he didn't look at the dimensions. He just saw a solar panel, was excited about how the functions that you play. Him that is always teaching people, say, make sure you look, be aware, look critically, look for physical parameters. It happens. We are also humans.
Yeah.
It happens to me too. Sometimes I've finished buying. I've actually paid before I remember, I didn't even check the expiry date. It happens to me. So we have put in place these measures to ensure that people are alert to what their interests are. The commission cannot be everywhere. Some of your complaints help. Our surveillance and investigation department also helps. Like you said, with that portal, the complaints come, the desk officer that is in charge checks it and all of that. Now we are saying to consumers, be alert to yourself. What do you want? Because at the end of the day, the commission is interested in the consumer getting value for money. The commission is interested in ensuring that you don't just part with your money and you don't get service. Whether it's for a product, whether it's for a service, you need to get quality. Insist, ask questions, be intentional, be deliberate about whatever it is you want to spend your money on. We can only keep sensitizing, like we're doing now, telling consumers why you need to be alert to yourself. You need to be an ethical consumer, because some of them just want to, like that woman that says, oh boy, go take loan. No, me, I don't take, I don't go pay. Do you understand?
Yeah.
You must be ethical, you must be truthful. Imagine that you are on the other side of the divide. You run the business and somebody does that. How do you feel? How do you recoup? How do you grow? How do you, be able to, how does the next man benefit from what you have benefited from when you don't pay back? So those are the things. It's a two-way street for the consumer and for the commission.
Now, many consumers are hesitant to come forward, maybe due to lack of trust or fear of retaliation. Now, how is the EFCC working to build confidence in this complaint system?
Okay, sorry. Actually, these are for us, this is a new area, and you know that there is something that has to do with humanity. It is not always easy to trust any new thing. I always say that trust is earned. You don't enforce trust, right? When you hear something over and over, somebody who have gone through such and his hand is not burnt, you will now trust that these things, and somebody does it today and do it tomorrow, you also know that next tomorrow you will also get the same result, right? That's how trust is built. But majorly also, at least informing, letting people know first, is what we're doing now. Advocacy, going on platforms, flyers, and we're doing it. We even as we are now, we have a program we are doing. We agreed with the Ministry of Education in this River State. We already have an approval to establish what we call young consumer clubs in all the secondary schools in River State. We already have gotten that. Last week we established 2. You understand? So we intend to ensure that all the secondary schools in River State have what we call young consumer club, so that from that way they will know, as a young people, they'll start building that trust knowledge, because it's knowledge that will give you trust, right? So I also want to use this media to let Nigerians know that, listen, when you have issues with whatever service or product, please don't go to hell because you may be told to go to hell and we don't care. Don't go to hell, come to FCCPC. Right? Because hell is not a good place to go to anyway. But what I'm actually trying to say, that we are there to ensure that Nigerians are redressed and Nigerians are protected. And to blow your mind, this thing is a free service. You don't pay anything. Are you getting my point?
Yeah.
It's absolutely free.
It's free.
Are you getting, for even one Nigerian, for one consumer, we will go to court. We have one now. A service that didn't take up to 50,000, but because of the way the other party behaved, we invited them. They were hesitant. They rather rushed to court that we didn't have the powers to invite them. Unfortunately, that that area has been decided. So when they saw that we were ready to come, they went and withdrew. But we said, no. When I don't start to go, we'll continue there.
So we have to leave it at that. We have to leave it at that. Uche Buchukuma, the zonal coordinator for the FCCPC. Thank you for joining me on the show.
Thank you, sir.
And Mrs. Ndote Ibisiki, the Director of Public Relations, thank you for joining me on the show today.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so that's the show for this week.